Hey there guys, and welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me here. So, I'd literally just finished uploading a Cinderella body horror story to the channel, talking about the twisted take on that beloved Disney tale of Cinderella being changed into this kind of graphic body horror type of movie. But now, it looks like we're moving on to another classic Disney character, and we're going to be talking about Aladdin. Aladdin is now getting a horror movie as well. So there's no end in sight to these public domain characters, whether it's Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, Bambi, all of these different Disney classic characters, and now it's Aladdin's turn, which is kind of crazy. I never saw this on the horizon, but I'm interested to see what they do with this. So we'll jump into this comicbook.com article, and we'll kind of break down this information and see what's going on with Aladdin, and how exactly can they turn this into a horror movie. So, an Aladdin horror movie is officially happening. What Disney characters are left? Yeah, that's true. I mean, they've turned every Disney character into a horror movie at this point in time. I'm sure there's a few left, but not many. So Aladdin, the Monkey's Paw puts a new horror spin on the classic story Disney once turned into a beloved animated franchise. So this movie is called Aladdin, the Monkey's Paw. That's a pretty cool name. I'm interested to see where it goes. Got a kind of creepy devil looking image there. I'm not really sure what that's about. So get ready for a whole new world of terror. I like that. Get ready for a whole new world and then of terror. I like that. So the trend of twisting beloved childhood tales into horror fodder continues. Absolutely. It's been going crazy. It's kind of out of control at this point, but I still love it. At this time, the target is Agrabah's famous street rat, as reported exclusively by Deadline. An independent horror film titled Aladdin, the Monkey's Paw is heading into production next month in the UK. So the project comes from Empire Studios, Every Entertainment and 8th Law Pictures. Instead of focusing on magic carpets and witty genies, this version is described as a dark, supernatural reimagining of a classic story. Aladdin, the Monkey's Paw also steps far away from the beloved Disney animated movie by mixing Aladdin's themes with the monkey paw trope so dear to horror fans. Do you know what? It's been an absolute beat since I've watched the Aladdin. I don't really remember much of the story. I'm not sure what the whole monkey pawn trope is. I'm not sure what that means. If you guys know what that is, let me know down in the comment section. But obviously, the monkey's paw, that's a big part of the narrative here. But I'm interested to see what they do with this, described as a dark, supernatural reimagining. So how are they going to twist this? How are they going to make it horror? I just can't wait to see what they do with it. I mean, is Aladdin going to be a bad guy now? Like a lot of these Disney classic characters are being turned into bad guys. Is Aladdin going to be a bad guy, or is he going to be the good guy trying to escape the supernatural part, like from Jafar? I remember Jafar being the evil guy in the Aladdin mythology. So we'll have to see exactly how this pans out. So Aladdin, the Monkey Paw updates the setting and the source of magical wishes, grounding the terror in a contemporary environment. Okay, so it's going to be contemporary, we know that. That's a big piece of information here. The official synopsis states, a modern-day Londoner, Aladdin, inherits an ancient monkey's paw, believed to grant wishes, only to discover that every desire comes with a soul-crushing price. So yeah, I mean, we've seen things like this in movies before, where someone gets hold of a MacGuffin. It can be pretty much any object that grants like any desire that you wish, but whenever you wish for something, there's always unforeseen bad ramifications that happen as a result of the wish that you've made. So it seems like they're going down that kind of route. I mean, it could be interesting if there's good writing and good character development. It could be something interesting, and I'm willing to see how it works out. So the cast includes the following people here. I'm not going to read it because I'll butcher the names. So have a pause and read of the following cast list there. Having a quick read through it, there's no one here that I know of myself. We got someone from Queen of South, someone from EastEnders, that's interesting. Tell Me Everything, someone from Terrifier 3, that's interesting as well. Screenplay is penned by Charlie McDougall, that's not someone that I know of. But like I say, have a pause and read of the creatives behind the movie there at your own pace if you want to, guys. Let's keep going. Quote, we always wanted to explore through a personal lens, not just the scares but the human cost of wishes. Writer-producer Charlie McDougall explained. This story has been haunting us for a while, and it's time to let it loose. We're not just making another horror film, we're building a world around a truly iconic concept. The paw, the mythology, the characters, is all there. Director Stryker highlighted the planned dynamic of the film. The film will be so much fun. It's all about peaks and valleys, the highs and lows of what we deem our dreams and desires, and then we slam it into a genre film and which the stakes have never been more diabolical and entertaining. I like the way that that's going. We slam it into a genre film in which the stakes have never been more diabolical and entertaining. The word diabolical, whenever that pops up, you know you're in for something pretty scary. So how are these ramifications of the wishes that he's going to be making, you know, when it comes to diabolical and entertaining? How is that going to factor in? What's going to happen? For every good wish that he makes, something really bad happens to someone that he knows. I just can't wait to see how that works. So, Aladdin is just the latest Disney classic to become a horror movie. I mean, I've talked about so many of these movies on the channel at this point, I can't even count. It's just going crazy. Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, just there's so many of them, I can't even count them off the top of my head. This dark interpretation of Aladdin, The Monkey's Paw, follows a now established pattern within the independent film circuit, made possible by copyright law. So yeah, this is where it gets interesting. Public domain characters, once the copyright expires on a character, you can pretty much use the character in any way you like, whether it's a graphic novel, whether it's a book, whether it's a movie, a TV show. It's pretty much a free character to use, and you don't have to pay any license fees or anything like that. So when the copyright expires on the earliest published versions of certain characters and stories, versions often famously adapted by Disney decades later, those specific original iterations enter the public domain. This allows any filmmaker to use them without needing permission from the corporations associated with the later, more famous adaptations. So you can use any of these classic characters, but you cannot use the Disney version of these characters. So, for example, you can use Aladdin in a horror movie if you want to, but you can't use the Disney version of the character. So you can't have him looking like the Disney version or alluding to the Disney version or anything that happened within the storyline of the Disney character. As long as you do your own rendition of the Aladdin, then you're absolutely fine when it comes to the legal kind of ramifications there. So this legal loophole has fueled a wave of low-budget horror films leveraging the name recognition of childhood figures to tell drastically different, often violent stories. The current wave of public domain horror arguably began when A.A. Milne's 1926 book Winnie the Pooh became public domain in the US back in 2022. UK's Jagged Edge Productions, spearheaded by Rhys Frake Waterford, quickly produced Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. Released in early 2023, this micro-budget slasher depicted Pooh and Piglet as feral killers seeking revenge on Christopher Robin. Despite poor reviews and multiple Razzie wins are like the opposite of Oscar wins, is like it awards like the worst films of the year. Its viral buzz led to profitability and a sequel, Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, which arrived in March of 2024 with slightly improved reception and the addition of Tigger. Yeah, they couldn't include Tigger in the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey because Tigger hadn't entered the public domain yet. Tigger was actually written into the Winnie the Pooh novels later on. That's why they couldn't include him in the first Blood and Honey movie. A third installment, Blood and Honey 3, is planned for 2026 with a larger budget. So, following Pooh, J.M. Barr's Peter Pan entered the public domain, enabled Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, released in early 2025, and directed by Scott Chambers. The film presented Peter as a disturbed kidnapper. Jagged Edge Productions has branded these interconnected films as a twisted childhood universe, or Pooniverse. That's the name I prefer, Pooniverse. I think it's a lot more fun. Next from the Twisted Childhood universe is Bambi the Reckoning, based on Felix Salten's 1923 novel, scheduled for a mid-2025 release and directed by Dan Allen. Its trailer showcases Bambi as a mutated, vicious killing machine. Other announced Twisted Childhood films include Pinocchio Unstrung and the crossover Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. That is a movie that I am so waiting for. Having Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, Bambi all coming together to team up to go on a massive killing spree. Sign me up and take my money. But anyway, will you be watching Aladdin, The Monkey's Paw? What do you think of horror movies based on classic childhood stories? So a lot of people in the comment section of these videos that I make, they're like, why are people doing this? Why would they just destroy Disney characters like this? But at the end of the day, when you have a low budget production company and some people are trying to cut their teeth to get into the industry, making a low budget horror movie on a very small budget is a great way to break into the industry, and capitalizing on the use of a classic Disney character that everybody knows is doing a lot of the marketing and advertising for you, because you're not making an original character that nobody knows and then you have to market the crap out of it to make people aware of your character. If you use an already established character that is now in the public domain, like Steamboat Willie, Winnie the Pooh, it markets itself because people already know who these characters are. And that's the reason why a lot of these characters are being turned into horror movies. It's cheap to make and the characters are already recognizable. But anyway, guys, what do you think of this? The Aladdin horror movie here being turned into some sort of twisted supernatural movie where he's going to be making wishes and there's going to be bad ramifications for the wishes that he makes. Is this something you're interested in watching? Do you think it sounds really bad? Whatever your thoughts are, jump into the comment section and let me know. As always, thanks so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel if you haven't done so far. It goes a long way to supporting the content, so I really appreciate that. And as always, I will see you in the next video.